That crown's gonna sting.
Daddy, please!
A crown for king.
Okay, one thing is for sure. Someday, all of this, everything, all of it will end. And I know right now you're like, oh, yeah, great. Well, thanks for the happy, uplifting message, Curtis, you creepy old fat donut. But it's true. One way or another, this entire planet will end someday. And now, don't get me wrong. This isn't like a threat. I'm not saying that I'm going to have something to do with that, with everything ending. I'm not saying I won't. I'm just saying it's a fact that despite anything we do on this planet and what we are able to do to destroy one another and the entirety of the planet itself, outside of that, someday this all won't exist. And for me, as bizarre as I am, thinking about how that end may come is really, really kind of fascinating. And before we get to that point of really worrying about how it all will end, it's kind of important to at least think about all the ways that we might be existing. There's the traditional, okay, it's the Big Bang Theory. We're here basically as just a stroke of luck. There's the theory, a more divine theory of a supreme being who created all this for us. But outside of that, there's a lot of ideas that might not be as popular as commonly discussed. That hey, they have just as much of a possibility of being the case as does having a God up in the sky, or for that matter, even even if you're not willing to acquiesce that the Big Bang didn't happen, there are still a lot of reasons or a lot of possibilities as to how the Big Bang occurred. And I enjoy thinking about these things. One of my very favorite ideas as far as the theory of being is one of my favorites because of all the really entertaining options it would provide for when everything ends. And that's the concept that we are actually just the results of a 7th grade science project by some kid from a very, very advanced civilization. and when you first say that, you go, oh yeah, that's probably not the case, Curtis. Go take your medicine. But hey, we have come to a point where we can almost make not little universes, but create little forms of life ourselves in petri dishes. From what I read, I mean, I'm not a science guy. I'm a brain damaged guy. So I'm just trusting that the much smarter people than me that wrote those things know what they're talking about. So who's to say? I mean, who's to say that we are not just an object of some 7th grader hoping to get an A? But then I think about that, and if the teacher looks at this kid's project and sees what an absolute cluster our society has become, he's probably going to fail anyway. At best, on our best days right now, we are a C- society. And that's when we're showing our good side. Now, here's where things get dicey. Let me ask you guys something. When you were done with your science projects in school, did you keep and care for them? I mean, are they things that if you're 35 now, you still got them sitting around somewhere because you were so proud of them? I would think not. I mean, I'm asking you guys as a real, genuine question because I don't know from personal experience, because I never did any homework or projects or anything like that, which should have been obvious to you and also, explains a lot. So what happens when Xylor decides that, I decided that that's his name, the kid's name who created us. just because Xylor is a really cool name and it just kind of sounds superior, racish, and everything. So, what happens when Xylor's got us sitting on a shelf in his room, and he then decides that he needs space for the new big boobed anime figure he got for his birthday, and he decides that the only space that can be used would be the one that we are he decides that the space for the big boobed anime figure is going to be the ones that his science project had been occupying. So in that instance, our existence ends as we get tossed into a wastebasket right next to some tissues that were used for questionable means. But I just hope Xylor's got a sense of humor, and before he throws us away, he screws with us a little. This is why I think this would be the great way for our existence to be squashed. with Xylor like peering down into his science project, so his face projects as like a giant godlike figure in the sky. And he just tells us we're all getting thrown away. and he laughs. He's like, "Oh, I am Xylor." And we're all like, "What the hell?" And then right next to the sticky tissues. Or what if Xylor gets bullied a lot? I mean, this is a pretty decent project he's created here. He's probably kind of a nerd. What if he gets bullied? So he's actually carrying us home. The day after the project got graded and handed back to him, he's carrying us home, and some bully comes up, smacks it out of his hand, and stomps on it. How perfectly appropriate would it be for our society, especially in the state it's in now, for everything to get ended under the foot of Nelson Muntz? But in all seriousness, guys, I really do. I enjoy a lot thinking about all the different circumstances that may be in place as to how and why we exist. Don't you guys? The possibilities are really endless, and some of the ideas seem less likely to me than others. But truly, can we throw anything out as a possibility? Because we don't really have any idea of the true nature of why we exist. I mean, just off the top, I mean, there's so many other ideas out there. You've got simulation theory, multiverse theory, cosmic consciousness, extraterrestrials. I mean, that's just a few of the different ideas on why we are here and why we are what we are that exist out there. And as I said, you can't, none of us can say for sure that any one of them isn't the case. It's really the kind of thing that you can lay in your bed at night thinking about and start to feel really, really cosmically insignificant, which is accurate because we are cosmically insignificant. But I genuinely want to know, what alternate theories of being fascinate you guys, or what ones really have piqued your interest? Tell me in the comment section, because that's where I learn more stuff, is from you guys. I really like to know what you think along these lines. And hell, maybe you guys have come up with some theories that I haven't even heard before. Some of you guys, we've been doing this together for how many years? Some of you guys are pretty scary. I'm sure some of you can come up with some shit that'll just, make the hair stand up on the back of my neck. And yes, I have some hair on the back of my neck, just because I don't have any on my head. One thing is for sure, though, I defy you. You will not find a theory that allows for a funnier way for us to end than in, the wastebasket next to some sticky tissues of some pimply-faced 12-year-old, or even under the foot of a cosmic Nelson Muntz. Those would be the ultimate in hilarity. I mean, come on, it's all going to end someday. And as long as it's got to end anyway, I'd like it to end with our final thoughts being, God damn, this sucks. It's all going to end, but but you know what? This is pretty funny right here.
Ah, goddamn, dude.